Have you ever seen something really impressive like an artwork, a video game, or a story that made you go, wow, I could never make that? Well, I'm here to tell you about the power of iterative processes that makes creating something amazing just magically easier. The idea is quite simple. You can break down the process of creating something amazing into very small manageable steps, which then you can achieve by iterating on them quickly. Let's say for example you want to get really good at digital painting. First, what you should do is to pick a simple project and try your best no matter what your skill level is. Something like this could be where you start. Then what you do is find some resources to guide your progress. So you're going to start a routine of learning a little bit, trying to paint it again, and then learning a little bit more. You should keep each cycle pretty short. 2 to 7 cycles per week is a good range, but of course it is mostly dependent on what kind of project you're working on. So every time you finish a cycle, you'll have marginally better results, and once you're satisfied with how it looks, what you do is either add more layers to the pipeline or change your project to something more challenging. An example of adding layers could be adding shading to what was a black and white drawing. After that, you could focus on highlights and extra details. If you wish to make it more challenging instead, you could change the project and move on to a whole face instead of just a single eye. Later, you could draw the face from different angles and learn about perspective and so on. This process is truly magical, which is to say, as long as you just focus on the next step and don't worry about how many steps it takes, you will learn at an absurd pace. It is almost scary how effective this method is. If you keep at it, expecting only marginal improvements every time before you even realize it, you can make a painting that looks incredible and you might not even believe that you were the one that created it. What's that? You don't believe me? You think it is more complicated than that? Well, let me give you an example to drive the point home. The example of this system working is right here. Yes, I'm talking about this very video because indeed what I first wanted to learn when creating this channel was video editing. So let's see how I learned it via an iterative process. Here is my first video ever. All it is a simple recording. In the first cycle, I simply learned how to capture the footage required for editing. Then I tried to fine-tune the quality of the footage in 2 more cycles. Later, I added actual editing by stitching together the footage and the low-quality voiceover with an image and the text. 2 cycles after this, we have this simple Oberon build video. Considering it is only 18 days after the first video, the progress is solid. And I considered this a good enough editing skill level to start adding more to the pipeline, knowing that my editing skill will get passively better with each iteration anyway. So I started focusing on improving my script writing, and the iterative process kept on going. I would add things, become decent at them, and then add more things. And with each cycle, both the newly added skill as well as all the previously added ones will marginally improve. In other words, it's a snowball effect, making you ever more capable as long as you keep at it. Using this iterative process makes learning new things so much easier and faster because it reframes the situation. Instead of you trying to get to the top of the mountain, which is a daunting task that can be paralyzing, you're simply focusing on your very next step. And this way, you improve at an astonishing speed. Have a look at this. It's a list of skills I've gained in the last 4 years, loosely ordered from the ones I know a lot about at the top, all the way to the ones that I know how to use at the beginner level, just in case I end up needing them for something. If you now understand the power of iterative processes, I recommend acting on this knowledge and starting to learn something. Otherwise, if you stick with what you can already do, then you will never become more than you are now. If you watch this till the very end and want to watch another one, then I recommend watching this video, which gives you a solid general framework for learning new skills, or this other one recommended by the algorithm. And with that, I'll see you next time, and bye bye!